No. Chat, y'all know what I'm about to play. Y'all know what I'm about to play. Hold on, chat. Hold on.
I found out on my knees when the law came. I found out on my knees when the law came.
No, wait, hold on. I gotta read this again. The rapper, hold on. Myron, I need you to take this in with me. The rapper swore he has personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes.
Yeah.
yo. You know the ill thing about Myron? He's like so not shocked because he's just dealt with it so much. Nah, bro, we listen to these people's music like, bruh, what do you mean he says he has, what does he mean he has personal knowledge? He swore. Wow, like, what could this mean? He has personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang, but he's distancing himself from YSL the gang versus YSL the label.
Yeah, man. I mean, for me, I'm not surprised because when you're looking at those kinds of numbers, man, and you're a music artist and you got money, you got a life to live outside of this shit, man, bro. I've seen the tough guys.
Wait, hold on. Man. Yo, chat, why did y'all tell me I'm not reading this thing completely? This is what he said. I recognize and I deeply regret that my talent in music indirectly furthered YSL the gang.
Pause. That's the shit that I was talking about right there. That's the statement that I was talking about right there. Let's keep going.
Detriment of my community. Gunna acknowledged in signed statement. He also said YSL as a gang must end.
Holy.
I know.
Yeah, right, good.
So what y'all saying? He a rat? Is that a fact? Is that a fact? Man, let's see what these boys talking about.
Ain't no way. Ain't no fucking. Wait, hold up. Yeah, Myron.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Break it down. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean,
but if you want a link, I'll send you a link that you can see this.
No, I'm reading it on your. I'm actually reading it on your thing right now, so I'm reading it myself. And yo, here's the thing with plea agreements, bro. You almost this is how plea agreements go. What the crime is, admitting to the crime, admitting your wrongdoings, right, and then being able to cooperate in the future. That's like the basic structure of any type of plea agreement. Because keep in mind that the defendant is receiving almost all the benefit most of the time in exchange for some type of cooperation or whatever, and or acknowledgement of criminal activity. Him saying that in itself, what does it do? It vilifies the gang as a gang. It proves that they are in fact a gang, even though they tried to say that they're not, despite all the snakes and the slime and the terminology and the gang phrases and the bandanas and everything else like that. And I went into detail in my breakdown on this. But yeah, man, I mean, he's going to obviously say that in a certain way, but the government's always going to have him by the balls that he has to cooperate if needed in the future. And that's probably going to be a bargaining chip for them when they go to Young Thug and say, listen, bro, hold on, go to trial because we'll call Gunna to the stand.
Wait, hold on.
From robotics to renewable energy, aerospace to autonomous vehicles, prototype.
Stand.
Wait, hold on. Glad you said that. Because I've always heard this. And you obviously working way more intimately than anyone in the community of rap or even myself could even fathom. What do you mean in the future? Like, what do you mean has him by the balls and pause on the term?
My question is, what the hell? Bro, y'all hearing this shit? Hold on, bro. Hold up, we not done, but hold up.
Terminology, but what do you mean has, like, again, there has, it's only, I don't even know what to ask. What do you mean they could force him to cooperate? Like,
I got you. So basically, this is what's going to happen. At this point, it's lawyers talking to lawyers. The detectives are no longer talking to the defendants at this point, unless they want to come forward and do some type of agreement, which is called typically a proffer. But at this point, it's lawyers talking to lawyers. And what I mean by that is Young Thug's defense team is talking to the prosecution. The prosecution is going to go to Young Thug's defense team and say, listen, just so y'all know, Gunna pled guilty. And Gunna is willing to come back and cooperate if we need him to, should you guys go to trial. We already know what Thug has done based on discussions with Gunna. So they're probably going to go ahead and let Young Thug's team know that if you go to trial, you're going to probably take an L because we basically got one of your top guys to cooperate with us. Because if you take a plea deal, bro, you got to cooperate with something.
I fell down to my knees with the, yo, Myra, you breaking our hearts. No, now keep going though, keep going. I had to play that sound effect. No, no. Hold on. Listen. We in hip hop love to be delusional, especially about the people we love. If we don't like you, it's whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Is it just possible that like, you know what I mean? They're just letting him out because they just realize he just has nothing to do with nothing, and they realize maybe they made a mistake.
Well, if that was the case, then Gunna would have fought it. He has a good legal team, and he has the money to have that legal team fight.
Okay, so I'm playing devil's advocate. Well, maybe fighting the case is going to land him in jail. He's not getting out on bond. 4 attempts, no bail. He's going to have to sit in jail for at least a year to maybe a year and a half just to fight it. It's easier just to say, hey, listen, we do some no harm, no foul shit. And I just take time served and basically go on glorified probation. Obviously, it's a 4-year suspended, but still. And yeah, I won't tell. I'm not, no telling. There's no telling happening. I'm a gangster. I'm a street nigga. Like, come on, no telling. Can't be no telling.
Well, I'm willing to bet that he gave some sort of information for them to even entertain giving him this plea deal, and then I think the biggest thing is they're going to use that.
You're right. We read it. He said I was in the car with a dude.
Wow, you're going to take an L.
Well, you're right. We read it. He said I was in the car with a dude and none of the guns. Like, that's obviously saying, hey, listen, I'm giving a sworn statement, whether I'm on stand or not, saying that those weapons that you're trying to charge whoever in the car for is definitely not mine.
Because if the state's case was weak, he would have just said, fuck that, I'm going to fight it. It would have been better in this public, it would have been better for him from a public interest standpoint, it would have been better for him for his music career. He would have been better off just fighting it if the charges from the state were that weak. However, they weren't, which is why he took the plea deal in the first place. And whenever you take a plea deal, it's written and etched into the plea deal, virtually state, federal, whatever it is, that you will cooperate with the government should they need you to. So in this case, Young Thug has some good lawyers. He has a very good legal team. And the state is a little bit finicky about it. So what are they going to do? Okay, the best way that we're going to be able to combat Young Thug, his defense team, is we need more and more cooperators against them. Because the thing is this, whenever you have a racketeering case or you have multiple conspirators, the problem is that each conspirator is a criminal. So inherently their testimony is tainted because they're a criminal. They're not deemed trustworthy. However, if you got 5, 10, 20 co-conspirators saying the same shit about the top guy, well, all of a sudden now, the testimony becomes more and more valid because it's being independently corroborated through different individuals. And then each person, right, depending on their hierarchy in the criminal organization, their testimony matters more or less. Someone like Gunna, higher up in the organization, their testimony is going to mean quite a bit. So I would say this was a chess move from the prosecution to secure Gunna's cooperation in the future should they need to go to trial against Young Thug, who they have the overwhelming amount of evidence against and they're trying to go after. And the thing I was trying to say before was why XO should be really concerned, which is probably why Gunna didn't want to go ahead and fight this thing, is because they have wiretaps. Anytime you have wiretaps...
Wait, hold on real quick.
All right.
Let me read the full statement. So we're reading the article that was there by... So someone from WSB TV was in court, so they know exactly what Gunna had to, on the record, basically acknowledge in front of a judge according to the...
Bro, the statement they finna play. Ain't gonna read the shit. This is what everybody was reading from the shade room until they go to that actual article link. Bro, this shit crazy. Honestly, at this point, really nobody knows what to believe, man. You know what I'm saying? But shit, if the paperwork that they got up there is valid, then I don't know, bro. You know what I mean? Because like I say, that same statement that I was talking about, Act just really read that shit off. We about to read that shit off again, so let's stay tuned. Let's check it out.
Basically acknowledged in front of a judge according to the plea. So that's what they wrote in their article. But Gunna, that's why I said this is kind of odd. Gunna dropped a statement immediately when this came out. You want me to read you Gunna's statement?
Okay, go ahead.
Listen to this, because right now it's playing on the Shade Room. Like, oh man, he definitely, he just got a great legal team. Look, Sergio Kitchens, which is Gunna, this is his press statement. He said, when I became affiliated with YSL in 2016, I did not consider it as a gang. More like a group of people from Metro Atlanta who had a common interest and artistic aspirations. My focus on YSL Entertainment, rap artists who wrote and performed music that exaggerated and glorified urban life and rap community, while I've always agreed to, always be truthful. Which, by the way, that's him basically saying, I have to.
Bro, that statement right there does not signify snitching at all. At all. But however, let's continue to listen.
Tell the truth if I ever call. He never says I'm going to be called, but you know they're going to be leveraging him. Like, we could call him. Okay, let's keep going.
Yep.
I want to make it perfectly clear. I have not made any statements. I have not been interviewed.
Whoa. I have not made any statements. I have not been interviewed. That man say he ain't snitching, bro. You know what I'm saying? However,
I have not cooperated and I have not agreed to testify or be a witness for or against any party in the case, and have absolutely no intention of being involved in the trial process in any way. Let me stop there before I read the last paragraph. He's saying that he has not agreed to be a part of this trial if it goes to trial, and he will not and has no intention of being involved in this trial. Do you think this is cap?
It's 1,000% cap, because by virtue of him signing the plea agreement, he forfeited all that.
say what?
To be a part of this trial if it goes to trial, and he will not and has no intention of being involved in this trial. Do you think this is cap?
It's 1,000% cap, because by virtue of him signing the plea agreement, he forfeited all that.
Whoa, wait a minute, hold up.
Intention of being involved in this trial. Do you think this is cap?
It's 1,000% cap, because by virtue of him signing the plea agreement, he forfeited all that.
Oh shit.
It's a wrap. Like, he can say all that. I haven't talked to the real thing you gotta add to that, when he says I have not cooperated, I haven't testified, add the word yet to that. I have not talked to the police yet. I have not cooperated yet. I have not testified yet, because the government now reserves the right to call him, and he must cooperate with the investigation, or they could reinstitute the charges. So he lost that ability to say I'm not cooperating once he signed the plea deal. It's a wrap.
Okay, let me read the last paragraph. He says, I have chosen to end my own RICO case with an Alford plea.
Whoa. Wait a goddamn minute, Rondell.
Cooperating once he signed the plea deal. It's a wrap.
Okay, let me read the last paragraph. He says, I have chosen to end my own RICO case with an Alford plea and end my personal ordeal by publicly acknowledging my association with YSL. That's so interesting, because in the first paragraph he says, I don't consider it a gang. But now he's saying, I'm acknowledging my association with YSL. Interesting. And
Hold up. Listen to what that boy just said.
That's so interesting, because in the first paragraph he says, I don't consider it a gang. But now he's saying, I'm acknowledging my association with YSL. Interesting. An Alford plea in my case is the entry of a guilty plea, the one that charged against me, which is in my best interest, while at the same time maintaining my innocence toward the same charge. I love and cherish my association with YSL music and always will. There's no way he could be on a label after this. Like, it's just no way. It's just no way, right? Like.
I mean, at this point, what do y'all think? You know what I mean? Do y'all think Gunna snitch? After hearing that, do you think that's a snitch? And that admission of guilt, do you think this man is snitching? No, let's finish. Let's let him finish.
You agree with this, right? I look at this. Let me just read this last line and there you go. I look at this as an opportunity to give back to the community and educate young men and women that gangs and violence only lead to destruction. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, the thing is that he forfeited that ability once he signed the plea agreement, and there's no way around it. If the government needs him, they will absolutely call him. If Young Thug or anybody... the thing is that he forfeited that ability once he signed the plea agreement, and there's no way around it. If the government needs him, they will absolutely call him. If Young Thug or anybody else higher up in the organization decides to go to trial...
Hold up.
Forfeited that ability once he signed the plea agreement, and there's no way around it. If the government needs him, they will absolutely call him. If Young Thug or anybody else higher up in the organization decides to go to trial, they will absolutely call Gunna as a witness to some degree, and he's going to have to testify, and he's not going to be able to enjoy the privileges of the Fifth Amendment because he's not necessarily incriminating himself talking about gang activity that he's already been charged and pled guilty to a degree. So,
hold up. Now the guy talking, Myron, he's actually going to kind of play on the Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez case by mentioning Megan's homegirl Kelsey and how she took the Fifth Amendment and remained silent because anything she says is going to implicate her. You feel what I'm saying? Check him out.
He's not going to be able to invoke the Fifth Amendment like our girl Kelsey did today because the thing is that Kelsey hasn't been charged for those crimes, so she was able to stay silent.
Hold up.
To a degree. So he's not going to be able to invoke the Fifth Amendment like our girl Kelsey did today because the thing is that Kelsey hasn't been charged for those crimes, so she was able to stay silent. Gunna won't have that privilege if they call him to the stand.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, when you sign a plea agreement, the government owns you, bro. They
Hold up.
If they call him to the stand.
Wow.
Yeah, when you sign a plea agreement, the government owns you, bro. They go through it with your lawyer. They go through it with you. You sit there with your attorney. Yeah, when you sign a plea agreement, the government owns you, bro. They go through it with your lawyer. They go through it with you. You sit there with your attorney. You and your attorney have prepped it. Like, he knows deep down that the government owns him. Like, all these things he's saying, oh, I have not cooperated, I have not spoken to the police or whatever, I haven't testified, just put the word yet at the end of it, and then you'll know the truth.
Okay. So let me ask you, and
these things he's saying, oh, I have not cooperated, I have not spoken to the police or whatever, I haven't testified, just put the word yet at the end of it, and then you'll know the truth.
Okay. So let me ask you, and this is obviously a contextual question. But
because Gunna's gonna lie in court. No, bro, because they already have all the facts. If he lies, it's the dumbest thing they could do because they already know what he did. So
hold up.
But
because Gunna's gonna lie in court. No, bro, because they already have all the facts. If he lies, it's the dumbest thing they could do because they already know what he did. So they're gonna hit him with perjury. Sorry, what were you saying, bro? My bad.
True. So let me ask you this question. So, Gunna, at this point, do you believe that obviously people are thinking, well, because we've seen this before. If Young Thug comes out and says, nah, like, we wanted Gunna to do that, even if it is what people might think it is, there's going to be a pass that is given. Gunna, Young Thug is the one who I believe is looking at least over 10 years. I would probably say close to 20. Do you think that Young Thug how do you think he will see this move? Just from a defendant point of view.
He's gonna. I mean, if I was him, I'd be looking at it like fuck. Like I'd be pissed because you don't get plea agreements unless you cooperate typically.
Just from a defendant point of view.
He's gonna. I mean, if I was him, I'd be looking at it like fuck. Like I'd be pissed because you don't get plea agreements unless you cooperate typically to some degree.
What
point of view?
Say what?
He's gonna. I mean, if I was him, I'd be looking at it like fuck. Like I'd be pissed because you don't get plea agreements unless you cooperate typically to some degree, especially with that amount of time shaved off.
Holy shit! By the way, I think Gunna did something amazing. He released a statement which they sent to. They probably did send to me. I gotta go check my shit. They sent a statement to the Shade Room, and they're running with the narrative. But I'm glad the chat told me to check the article because I was like, wow, this is a crazy deal. Then I look down and it says, I realize that, and I deeply regret that my talent in music furthered YSL the gang and to the detriment of my community. YSL as a gang must end. Regret that my talent in music.
This shit right here is what I was talking about. This right here was what I was talking about. Let's go back.
Told me to check the article because I was like, wow, this is a crazy deal. Then I look down and it says, I realize that, and I deeply regret that my talent in music furthered YSL the gang and to the detriment of my community. YSL as a gang must end. In none of his statements, he says, furthered YSL the gang and to the detriment of my community. YSL as a gang must end. In none of his statements, he says, YSL as a gang must end.
Hold up. Let's go back.
Down and says, I realize that, and I deeply regret that my talent in music furthered YSL the gang and to the detriment of my community. YSL as a gang must end. In none of his statements, he says, YSL as a gang must end.
Yeah.
No, this is wow.
It's wild, man. I mean, but yo, this is how racketeering cases go, man. I mean,
I agree. No, I'm with you. Here's the thing, though. You see, we're in hip hop, and the Tekashi 6ix9ine case was such a signifier of this is what snitching or this is what cooperation looked like. I'm glad you're on here with me, right? To explain how cooperation could be masked, because we only really think cooperation when somebody's on the stand. They got like, you know what I mean? We see the music videos. The guy who's on the stand, they put like in the music videos, they put like a rat head over him and he's pointing somebody out and whatever the case is. Yeah, because that's what we only see cooperation to be. Now again, for everybody who's watching this, I am a civilian, so I don't give a fuck if somebody did cooperate or not. But I keep saying that, unfortunately, a lot of black culture is crime culture. AJ, you were saying something? What's up?
No, I was gonna say, you want to know the dirty secret when it comes to informants, bro?
Go ahead.
If you see an informant testifying in court, the agent himself fucked up more than likely. There's so many cases where informants never take the stand and they don't even know who the cooperator was. That's when you know that you did a good case, when they don't know who the cooperator is. So for every time you might see a snitch take the stand or a cooperator take the stand, there's probably 10 other investigations where the person got indicted, charged, convicted, everything. Cooperator never took the stand. No one knows who the hell he is.
Now, that's deep.
Indicted, charged, convicted, everything. Cooperator never took the stand. No one knows who the hell he is.
And by the way, I agree with you. I always said, if 6ix9ine case went down, right, and Harv, because these are the kidnappers, right?
Yeah.
If Harv and I think Nuke, if they didn't take it to trial, because everybody in 6ix9ine's gang, Harv and Nuke was the people who broke apart. Like they were already like separated before the whole thing happened. If they never brought it to trial where 6ix9ine had to sit on that stand, and I think 6ix9ine is unaffected.
Yeah, he could have had plausible deniability because there was other informants. There were a lot of other informants in the case. For example, his driver,
bro, separated before the whole thing happened. If they never brought it to trial where 6ix9ine had to sit on that stand, and I think 6ix9ine is unaffected.
Yeah, he could have had plausible deniability because there was other informants. There were a lot of other informants in the case. For example, his driver,
bro, he would have hit everybody with the oh, hey, listen, I didn't snitch on nobody. I just took a plea and admitted my wrongs.
Yeah.
Right? Which really, admitting your wrongs is like, yeah, of course I saw the shooting. Him was there. Yeah, I didn't do it. Like, again, you're kind of telling me, you're like, oh no, I'm just admitting my truth. I'm admitting what I was involved in. But aggressively, people only think that telling is pointing out people understand.
Well,
And
let me tell you this too, Act. The thing is, right? So the thing with trial is that at trial, everything comes to light. Everything, right? So informants a lot of the time got to come to light. Any type of sources you may have, because at trial, that's it. Like, everything's out there, right? So the other thing too that Gunna's probably banking on and hoping is that everybody else at YSL takes a plea as well. Now, what I was saying before, which is why I think, you know, Young Thug would be foolish to take this thing to trial, right? Besides the fact that Gunna just pled out, which means that he's basically in the chamber for the prosecution. The other reason too that no one has really talked about enough is that there's wiretaps on this case. For you to be able to get a wiretap on someone means you had to have an informant by default, because you need to be able to call the individual, establish that their phone is used for criminal activity, and once you establish that phone is used in criminal activity, then you go ahead and start listening to it. But you can only do that, we call it a dirty phone call, a dirty call in the government, right, or in law enforcement. The only way you can get a dirty call is you need someone close to the organization to make the dirty call and call the individual, and then also talk about criminal activity on the phone. And you need to be able to identify other conspirators that are using that telephone number to contact the individual for criminal activity. So anytime you're listening to wiretaps, or wiretaps are involved in an investigation, I know for a fact there were informants involved, because you can't get the dirty call unless you have one. So that's another thing also that YSL needs to keep in mind, is that, or well, the audience needs to keep in mind, excuse me, YSL definitely knows this shit, is that they have wire intercepts on this case.
no, well, everyone was already like caught up on these lyrics, right? And I want, and you've covered this, you know. Remember everyone was saying, "Oh, this is a lyrics case."
Yeah, fuck the lyrics, bro. I read the lyrics are one thing, right? The only reason they used the lyrics was to establish that these guys are actually a gang, right? So they showed pictures of them with the snakes. They showed pictures in image. For one thing, right? The only reason they used the lyrics was to establish that these guys are actually a gang, right? So they showed pictures of them with the snakes. They showed pictures and images of them using the slime term. They used pictures and images of them with red bandanas, and the killing of that guy Peanut, who was a Blood gang member. And they showed all this stuff to show that these guys are the Bloods, which is a national gang, which automatically makes it racketeering. That's why they use the lyrics mostly. But what I'm more concerned with, if you look down later on in the indictment, is they say we received communication, right? And they did everything in their power to not say wire communications, because that would make it too obvious that it was wiretaps. But for me, reading it from from an investigator's perspective, I was like, no, these guys have recordings, which means one of two things: either it's real-time wiretaps, which is what I think it is, or worse yet, someone wearing a wire. So either way, there's informants involved from the beginning, which allowed them to even be able to build up this investigation. And not only is it time wiretaps, which is what I think it is, or worse yet, someone wearing a wire. So either way, there's informants involved from the beginning, which allowed them to even be able to build up this investigation. And not only is it informants, which is what I think it is, or worse yet, someone wearing a wire. So either way, there's informants involved from the beginning, which allowed them to even be able to build up this investigation. And not only is it informants, it's informants close to them, because they had Young Thug on the phone talking about, oh, we need to kill this guy or whatever, and they're able to basically show that he was ordering hits.
Wow. Man, when I tell you, that shit just got spicy. Well, we don't know what to believe, man. All we can do is just goddamn say, hey, man, free Thugger. And hey, shit, welcome home, Gunna. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on with that, but I mean, if what them folk talking about is true, you know, then it look like, you look like you're snitching, bro. I'm not a street nigga. I'm not in the street. Y'all got that. I don't, the rules of this shit, y'all got it, bro. I don't understand it. But my thing it is, man, salute to everybody out there, man, that's keeping their head up in these fucked up times, man, make moves and shit, you know what I'm saying? And that's not really fucking over their people, In this case right here, we not sure how this shit gonna end. You know what I'm saying? One got out, but the other still locked up. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, shout out to everybody that's fucking with Big Keith TV, man, like, subscribe, holla at your boy.